Hello, friends, and welcome to episode number 46 of a Disney Life podcast. We appreciate you being with us here today. I am Missy, and I am joined by my co host, Rachel, today. Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Missy. Good to talk to you today.
Absolutely, because today we are talking about one of our favorite Disney World resort hotels. This episode is going to be focused around Disney's Wilderness Lodge. So, we are going to talk all about the things we know about Wilderness Lodge and things that may help you on your upcoming stay there, or maybe even encourage you to stay there on a future trip to Walt Disney World. Whether you have been here with us before or if it's your first time stopping to check out a Disney Life with us, we appreciate you being here. Especially this week, we had some silly nastiness going on some of our socials this week, and people out there apparently are still unkind. I thought the world was over wasting their time being unkind, but apparently not. I guess they say in this kind of thing, any attention is some good attention out there. So we'll take that negative love anyway. But, we do appreciate you guys being here to listen to us chat about Disney. We hope that it brings a little bit of Disney fun and travel into your life wherever you are and whatever you're doing today. It's important to take a little bit of a break for your own health, for your mental health, and just to be able to zone out a bit from time to time and think about the fun stuff out there. And with Disney, we always have a lot of fun stuff to talk about. So stick around for today's episode about Disney's Wilderness Lodge, followed by a top 5 of our favorite ADRs, which, if you are a longtime Disney fan, you know what an ADR is. If you're a newer Disney fan, you may not. So stick around and thanks for being here.
As Missy mentioned, we are going to be talking about Wilderness Lodge today. And this resort, I think, would be in our top 1 and 2 spots, hands down, for both of us. So this resort opened May 28th, 1994. So it is getting quite old. I was surprised when I saw that. It doesn't seem like it's been open that long, but it has gone over.
You
Through
are
some
not going to
changes.
get me to say 1994 was a long time ago or old, Rachel, because
It's
that
not old,
would
but it feels like a long time ago. It does feel like
it
a long
is.
time
It's
ago.
longer ago than you would think. Yes, time
Yes.
flies.
Yes, absolutely. So this resort is giving a throwback to America's Great. Well, I wouldn't say throwback. Yes, I would. America's Great Northwest, because it's
You
inspired
could
by,
say it, yes.
yeah, the turn of the century national park lodges that you can
Mhm.
find in the Northwestern United States. And so this lodge definitely celebrates American craftsmanship, the untamed wilderness, because it is called Disney's Wilderness Lodge, and the outdoor and nature trails and pine forest. And it really does feel, as you drive up to the lodge, like you are in a completely different area than Central Florida. So I love that about the resort, that it takes you to a different place while you are in Disney World's bubble. So I always do enjoy that. And of course, you have a lot of nods to a lot of different things. There's a nod to Yellowstone's 1904 Old Faithful Inn, which is what was a lot of the inspiration for the architecture of the lodge.
Right. I believe the main lodge building area was actually designed, it was modeled after the Old Faithful Inn from
Yes.
Yellowstone National Park. So definitely a tribute there to that. And I absolutely agree with you that it has a way of just relocating you entirely into a whole different place. What you're in Central Florida, but you walk into the lodge and you're suddenly in the Pacific Northwest. Even the music playing in the background and the feel of it and the smell of it and everything really just transports you to a whole different place. And I love that Disney has the ability to do that with several of their resort hotels.
Yeah, and we've talked often about Disney details on this podcast and how intentional Disney is with everything. And I read, when doing some research about the history of the lodge, that even the drive up to the lodge was intentional. They wanted to make it feel a little bit longer so you do feel like you are driving out into the wilderness, which they absolutely did. It does have a little bit of a long drive that you kind of see some signs before you get up to the security gate. And then you have another drive to go to before you get up to the actual lodge itself. So they did a fantastic job with that. And I appreciate the intentionality of, hey, let's really whisk these people away while they're here.
I'm stumbling over my words here. I'm just so excited because I love Wilderness Lodge so much, I guess. But as you go through the security checkpoint entering the resort and you enter that long driveway up to the resort itself, it's almost like a mountain climb. Like you're not just on the flat Central Florida ground where you could see all around you. You have all of the tall pine trees and lots of trees and things around you that have real live acorns. You know,
Yeah.
it's the real deal there. So yeah, they just set the stage from right when you enter through that guard shack there at the front of the property.
And then when you get through that guard shack and once you drop off your luggage or pull in or whatever you do, then you walk into the most impressive part of the entire resort, which is that beautiful, gorgeous lobby. And this lobby, just the details that went into this, there's totem poles, and I read that they are 55 feet tall, and these are authentic totem poles, an 80-foot tall fireplace there. And that Disney flew in just wood from the Northwest that was used to create this and flew and
It's from
used
Oregon,
snow
I think.
from
Yeah,
or yeah.
the wood that they use to create a lot of the things in the lobby itself, it was flown in from Oregon, so that's pretty cool too. And it is I often refer to it as majestic, especially at Christmas time, my favorite time of
Mhm.
year there. But somehow even being there in the summer months, it still makes you wanna cozy up by that fireplace, even when it's
Yes.
100 degrees outside. Once you enter there, of course, it's climate controlled inside there, so you'll be nice and comfortable even if sitting by the fire. The main lobby area that I refer to as majestic is 7 stories high with the guest rooms leading up to the top floor there. So it's a very high ceiling in there. And the thing I love about it is that it has all of the nooks and crannies all around in the levels, the balcony areas looking down from where the guest rooms are up above, you can see down into the lobby and just feel the excitement and hear the hustle and bustle of things going on down below there. So it's just a really nice ambiance there. In a way, it's always very active, but it's also very relaxing to me, if that
Yes.
makes sense. You know, that background noise is something that I used to take for granted. I've noticed it a lot more since 2020 because there were some times that I was in the parks and realized everything was back to normal except for there weren't as many people and there wasn't the laughter and the chatter and families enjoying time together, friends enjoying time together. And that's something that almost all times a day you'll experience at Disney's Wilderness Lodge because there's a lot happening in that lobby there. Now, I have been out there at 4 a.m. when it's quiet as can be. And that's a different experience also, while very, very cool, it does feel pretty different, but, it really is just an incredible building in itself. Forget the fact that it's located right there near Disney's Magic Kingdom in the heart of Walt Disney World. So, I think that's a huge benefit to it also, is it is in the Magic Kingdom resort area.
Mhm.
It is not located on the monorail line, but there is a ferry boat that runs continuously throughout each day to get you back and forth to Magic Kingdom Park. And then there's also bus service to the Magic Kingdom and to Disney's other parks and to Disney Springs from there. So super conveniently located. It's also kind of situated right in between Disney's Contemporary Resort and the Fort Wilderness Campground and next to the new up and coming Disney Lakeshore Lodge. So I'm always excited for new hotels. I feel like we're going to have a little bit of confusion once it opens because I think it's very common for people to confuse Fort Wilderness, the campground, with Disney's Wilderness Lodge, two very different places. The Wilderness Lodge, Disney's Wilderness Lodge, is a deluxe level resort. It's one main lodge building and then some separate buildings that we'll discuss in just a couple minutes here. But then you have the campground, which is just around the lake. They're located on Bay Lake there in Central Florida. And the campground is actually a campground. They're not pretending that they're camping there. You will see actual tents and there will be campers and there are some
Mhm.
cabins over there also, but very different property than Disney's Wilderness Lodge. So for today, we're just talking about the lodge itself.
Yes, and, you can see the roof of the lodge, depending on where you are traveling over in the Magic Kingdom area, not inside the Magic Kingdom park, or if you can, I don't know where you could see it. I've never been able to see Wilderness Lodge from there, but there
No.
are places, yeah, around the monorail line that you can see the lodge kinda poking out through the trees there. The roof is green, so it blends in quite nicely
I
from
think
other
this is a
parts.
challenge for us, Rachel. We should see if there's anywhere inside the Magic Kingdom that we can see Wilderness Lodge from.
Yeah,
Because thinking about being at Wilderness Lodge in some of the upper level rooms in what I know I can see in the Magic Kingdom from Wilderness Lodge, maybe Astro Orbiter or even
maybe.
possibly part of the People Mover, you may get a peek of that there. I don't know. If our listeners out there know, let us know. If not, that's something I'm going to put on my to-do list because maybe it's
Right?
I feel like more recent years, it may have become possible because
Yeah.
they have removed a lot of trees. And again, we'll get into the other areas of Wilderness Lodge soon, but they did an expansion a few years ago, adding in some cabins. And when they did that, they cleared a lot of trees. And I think that cleared some view. So stay
Yes.
tuned for whether
Yeah.
or not
I
you can see
can see
Wilderness Lodge from the Magic Kingdom anywhere. I mean, it is pretty close.
it is very close, and well, Walt Disney Imagineers do a fantastic job of hiding the outside world from the parks
Mhm.
as it is. So I would be curious to see that too. But you can see it from different parts of the monorail line. You can see Wilderness Lodge poking out through the trees through there. Another part that I want to mention with the lobby. So I agree with the lobby. There aren't many lobbies of resorts that I go and sit in, but
Mhm.
Wilderness Lodge is one of those. It is very inviting, and they have a lot of different seating areas that are perfect for families, whether you're checking in to the resort or you're checking into a restaurant and you just need a place to hang out. There's a lot of really inviting sitting areas. But one of the huge things, and they are huge, that you would notice as soon as you walk in, other than the totem poles, are the light fixtures. And these are designed to look like teepees. There are four of these within the lodge. They are 600 pounds each and made with real rawhide. So they have hand painted symbols, Native American symbols on them. There's also a wrought iron ring going around the outside with some animals, buffalo, things that you would find out in the Pacific Northwest. And Michael Eisner was the CEO when Wilderness Lodge was being built. And it is said that he insisted that the whole lodge, the lobby, be lit up by these four chandeliers. So the massive size helps them do that. And that is another very impressive thing. And that adds to the ambiance of when you do see the Christmas tree being lit up. And in the nighttime, there is some natural sunlight coming in. There's some large windows there, and you have sunlight coming in from the front. But it just really just the whole place feels warm at all times. And I'm not talking temperature warm, I'm just talking about cozy and pleasant because, yes, as you said, it is temperature controlled. It's a wonderful lobby to go and sit in and be comfortable and relaxed, but it just has a warmth to it that I don't think can be recreated in every resort.
I absolutely agree. And as you had mentioned, it's a great place to go and relax. And like all Disney resort hotels, they are not open exclusively for guests staying just there. Anyone is welcome to use the common areas of Disney's hotels for their restaurants and other purposes. So if you happen to be at the Magic Kingdom for a day and you feel like your family needs an afternoon break, go ahead and take a ride on that watercraft right over there in front of the Magic Kingdom. It'll take you right to Wilderness Lodge, and you can spend a little bit of time wandering around there to see it and enjoying the lobby. One of the things I like about the lobby and with the balcony area, I don't know if balcony is the appropriate term because it's not like they're individual balconies, but overlooking from the upper floors down into the main floor. There is seating all the way around, little nooks and crannies. There are additional fireplaces on a few of those upper levels where you can go and sit and relax. We have popped by and picked up a dessert at the quick service location there and taken it over to one of the fireplaces to just sit and let the kids have a little bit of downtime. Again, seems a little strange, especially when you're dealing with the heat of the summer months in Central Florida, that you're going to cool down sitting by a fireplace. But just trust me here, it works because
Yes.
it is all climate controlled in there and it's just such a beautiful, relaxing place. The big fireplace that Rachel mentioned in the first floor of the lobby, which does extend all the way up the 7 floors and to the ceiling, has large wooden rocking chairs in front of it where you can sit and relax. And there are couches and chairs all throughout the main lobby level. There is a bubbling spring there that starts there, and you'll be able to see as you travel outside and wander around the resort that that spring flows all the way down to the swimming pool. Certainly a natural spring, not just a Disney created thing. What do you think, Rachel? Is it real?
I mean, those Imagineers are pretty crafty.
They are, they are. It's super cute. I've heard, not within my own family, but, you know, you overhear conversations of other people around, and I've occasionally heard siblings arguing whether or not it was real, and does the water from the lobby really go into the swimming pool? And I'm sure Disney's, lifeguards and their people who are taking care of the swimming pools and testing the water have enough on their hands just dealing with pool water. So I don't think we're going to really be streaming any lobby water into there, but it is an excellent facade they've created for us
Yes.
down through the the rocky areas just outside and the water from the springs leading down to the pool. And then eventually down to their own geyser, which it
Mhm.
does every hour on the hour. You'll see the geyser go up. And I think it goes until around 10 p.m. is the last one. It doesn't go through the night. I'm not entirely sure, but last I knew that's how it was. And it's right around every hour on the hour. I think it was a couple minutes off when I was there back in February, but that's always fun to see also. And of course,
Yeah.
that's right down there on Bay Lake. And I'm sure that natural spring leads right down to the lake and then, back again through Mother Nature.
Yeah, and even that, heading down to Bay Lake to get onto the boat, it's an experience. It's a beautiful part of the resort at night where you kinda have the Spanish moss coming off of the pine trees, and
Mhm.
it's lit up by some lanterns, and, I love Disney's Contemporary Resort, but the walk to the boat dock is just kind of a boring walk. It's pretty concrete and just a basic walk that you would expect. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's not particularly magical. Wilderness Lodge just takes it to a different level, and that whole area is so gorgeous and so beautiful. And you mentioned about the springs originating in the lobby and heading down. So the pool rumor was one that I have heard for years, especially right when it opened, about, the pool
Uh-huh.
water originates in the lobby, and maybe believed for a time period of my life, grown up since I was 8 when it opened up.
It's the same water since then, Rachel, I
Yeah,
promise.
same one. They just recycle it. It's amazing.
But yeah, that walk down to the boat launch, when I was there recently, they were replacing a lot of the wooden planks, keeping everything nice and fresh. I know they were recently doing some work there down in the marina area. So there are a few times during the year that you may see the boat launch down and not operating. But if that's the case, they'll have extra buses running over to the Magic Kingdom or wherever you need to get to. But for the most part, you can rely on that watercraft being there. And they have a couple different sizes also. Some of them you're able to roll a stroller on, and some you are not. So that's something the captain of the boat there will be able to let you know if you have a stroller or a scooter along with you. And it's very convenient to get over to the Magic Kingdom from there.
Yep, and you can also take, on the opposite side of the dock, can take boats over to Fort Wilderness and to Disney's Contemporary Resort too, and, they do a really good job with signage, and the captain will also let you know where you're heading before you take off and
Oh.
before they get you into onto the boat, so that is definitely one of my favorite areas to transport to, and I've done transportation from the Contemporary over to Wilderness Lodge fairly recently as well, so it's a beautiful boat ride, it's very nice and relaxing, and always fun to take that type of transportation at Walt Disney World.
So let's go ahead and get into what the different sections of Wilderness Lodge are. So we have our main lodge building, and when the lodge first opened, that entire main building was all considered Disney's Wilderness Lodge. But a few years back, they had a bit of a refurbishment and a change in how things were situated. And Disney's Copper Creek Villas were born. These are part
Mhm.
of the Disney Vacation Club timeshare program that you could either be an owner of, or you can rent points, or you can book these rooms just like a regular hotel stay, just like you would with the regular Wilderness Lodge rooms. So, the most easy way, I think, to explain it is to say you have two long wings of this hotel building. It's kind of like a C shape if you're looking from above, with the lobby right there in the middle, and then kind of curved. Maybe it's more like a V. I don't know, the wings going out, but you have two long wings, and the large pool area is right in the center of them. So one of the wings remains Disney's Wilderness Lodge and is regular hotel rooms, and the second wing is where you'll have Copper Creek Villas with their different size villa options. The Wilderness Lodge rooms have standard view, which is the resort view, and then they
Yeah.
also have a fireworks view. Because as I mentioned, when they did some work a few years ago and cut some trees, it really made the fireworks more viewable from Wilderness Lodge. They had kind of been covered over a lot by very tall trees for a while, but they've kind of harvested them out of there and planted some
Mhm.
new growth in there so they don't have that height blocking things.
Yes, so you also have a water view there too, and we've talked
Mhm.
about how the pool there water view is great, but during the day, the pool can get kind of noisy out in that area too, so that might be something that you're mindful of when choosing your room type and location.
So most of those rooms have 2 queen beds or a king bed. They are not large enough to have the day bed or a couch at all. They do have a small little, I call them cafe tables, table for 2, just a
Mhm.
small table with 2 chairs, that you can sit at to eat if needed or just use for whatever purpose, tossing your stuff on, we throw our magic bands there, whatever. There is a dresser
Yeah.
with some drawers and a large TV, of course. And then you'll have a whole closet area with lots of space to put things. Part of a recent year refurbishment was raising the beds, like we've seen happen at almost all of the Disney hotels. At this point, the beds are raised up so your suitcases can fit under there. And then you have the bathroom area where the toilet and shower are separated from the sink. So that makes it a little bit easier for families to use. And there's a sliding door there also to close off the sinks from the main living area of the room for a little bit of privacy. They do have what they call a deluxe room. They have not a whole lot of them, but there are some deluxe club level rooms. And these rooms are larger than the regular rooms, and they're able to sleep up to 6 guests and offer a little bit more privacy in the bedroom area. So, again, these are club level rooms. And not just on every floor, they're up on that seventh floor, is where the club level rooms at this hotel are located. These rooms sleep up to four. The regular rooms sleep up to
Mhm.
4 guests plus a child under age 3 in a pack and play. So, not a great option for larger families unless you'd like to try for 2 connecting rooms, but still fantastic rooms, very cozy. I must say,
Yeah.
I miss the bunk beds. They used to
I was
have bunk
I was
beds.
going to say, do you remember the bunk?
My parents have bunk beds in their home right now that they bought when my children were little because they love the bunk beds at Wilderness Lodge so much that they wanted to have them for sleepovers at grandma and grandpa's house. So they're
Yeah.
so fortunate that my parents were able to locate some somewhat similar wooden bunk beds for them and create that there because when my kids were little, my oldest daughter Gracie used to call Wilderness Lodge her home away from home. It was her second home and
Mhm.
she loved being there, even though we would go there at best once a year. At that point, she thought it was her other home and she wanted to be there whenever she could. And to this day, we still look for what she calls her buffalo buddies, which were buffalo topiaries that they used to have at their resort. They used to be out front for a while. They
Yeah.
were
Mhm.
down the end of the one wing where Geyser Point is now. I did not find them anywhere on this most recent trip, so I don't know if they're there anymore or not, but we definitely have seen some changes at the lodge over the years. I think there were probably some smart changes. It takes an ideal family dynamic to be able to make use of the bunk bedrooms. So eliminating them does make sense, but a little bit of the extra magic and fun missing from that there with the elimination of those.
Yes, that was a different category that you could book at the time because not every room
Mhm.
had bunk beds. Some of them did have the 2 queen rooms, but, as you mentioned, these rooms are smaller than most of the other deluxe resort rooms. These are similar in size if you stayed at Animal Kingdom Lodge to Animal Kingdom Lodge, which Wilderness Lodge and Animal Kingdom Lodge are typically the least expensive of the deluxe resorts, probably because of the room size and that they do not offer, for the most part, except for that deluxe room, any rooms that sleep 5, but we'll get to that. And when we get to the villas, there are some exceptions to that rule there. But yeah, I never stayed in a bunk bed room. I saw one time, and I will say if you're listening to this and the last time that you stayed there, you remember having a bunk room, it is time to go back. So
That's
the
true.
lodge has changed significantly over time. I think the changes that they've made are beautiful. I think the rooms are beautiful. Over the last couple of years, as they've gotten rid of those old bedspreads. You remember those?
I
And
do,
then
I sure
yeah,
do.
and
And
really
the
gone in.
carpeting, and it's just
Yes,
all refreshed now. It's
yeah,
it's much brighter, while
mhm,
still holding on to that more rustic feel of being in the Pacific Northwest. So,
yes,
I think they did a great job with them overall, as they did
yeah.
over on the Copper Creek side. So, the opposite wing where we have Copper Creek, where you'll have studio villas and is it 1 and 2 bedroom villas? I think you've got the stats on it there, Rachel, of what they have or no?
So Copper Creek Villas, they do have 1, 2, and 3-bedroom villas. They also house these standalone cabins, which we have been fortunate enough well, I've been fortunate enough to visit. I haven't stayed in them before, but over at Copper Creek, you do have a few different options for your family to stay at. So Copper Creek does have deluxe studios that sleep up to 4, so it'll be a queen size bed and a queen size sleeper sofa located there. And a couple of them are known as deluxe studios with showers. So you've got a little bit of a different bathroom set up over in those parts of it. But the one bedrooms also sleep up to four, which is kind of different from some of the other one bedroom villas that you may expect at Old Key West or Saratoga that can sleep five. But these will only have a king bed and then a queen size sleeper sofa. The two bedrooms, though, sleep up to eight with a king bed in one room, two queen beds in the other, and then a queen size sleeper sofa. You also at Copper Creek have a bedroom grand villa, which I think would be amazing to stay at with some friends and
Mhm.
family with 12 sleeping up to 12 adults, king bed, four queen beds, and a queen size sleeper sofa. But the very impressive part of this addition, well, change refurbishment, but these are additions, the two-bedroom cabin. So these sleep up to eight adults. They are right there on Bay Lake, where you have a king bed, a queen size sleeper sofa, a single pull down bed, which is in one of the bedrooms, and then a twin size sleeper chair, which has a kitchen and a dining area. Also has a nice little patio area with a picnic table. We've spent some time out on one of those before with a hot tub out there too that is gated off. So it is great that Disney has taken obviously a lot of things into account for safety for families. So this is a very nice location that you can go and spend a lot of time at, which we have before. So those are all part of Copper Creek. And if you are staying in any part other than the cabin, then you will be in the main lodge building.
Absolutely. And I know from experience and from booking it myself that the studios at Copper Creek are basically the exact same size as the standard, just the regular rooms at the Wilderness Lodge wing of the building. And the pricing for the nightly rate is usually right around the same as well. So these rooms can be booked depending on availability, just like any hotel room. Treated the same way, still guests of the lodge, just a slightly different type of room in opposite wing of the building. So Rachel had mentioned those 26 Cascade cabins, they call them, at Copper Creek. And these are the individual structures that are down by the lake. Half of them are on one side of the property and then half are on the other. I would say, other than having an absolutely beautiful private little home on Disney property near the Magic Kingdom, the most exciting thing to me about these particular overnight accommodations are that on one side, you'll be able to see the Magic Kingdom fireworks, very likely from out on your screened in patio where your private hot tub is. The other side of the resort, the ones that are housed over there, you may be able to catch a glimpse of the electrical water pageant down on Bay Lake. That's something we've talked about here in previous episodes many times, I'm sure, because it's one of my absolute favorite things. But it is a nighttime water parade that happens out on some boats, on some barges out on Bay Lake. It happens every night of the year. It's the same exact show, and it has been for many, many years. Since the Magic Kingdom opened, it's one of my favorite things out there. So being able to see that from one of these cabins is a pretty cool thing. All right, so that covers Wilderness Lodge main building, including Copper Creek Villas. And then we have what Disney now calls a Boulder Ridge. So their Boulder Ridge villas were formerly known as the villas at Disney's Wilderness Lodge. It is a separate, we call it little lodge building, but I mean it's a big building. If it was sitting
Yeah.
anywhere else on its own, it would be a hotel of its own. But since it's sitting next to the massive lodge, it doesn't seem quite as grand. But it is an individual building. It does have a covered pathway with sidewalk that leads directly over from a side entrance of the main Wilderness Lodge building. It has a super sweet, very cozy as well lobby area in the entrance. There's a fireplace there that's actually two-sided. One of it side of it opens up to the main entrance area, and the other side is into a side room where you can see some Disney memorabilia, including some photos and trains of Walt Disney's. They often will have different things set up in there. Although one great disappointment I encountered recently was they used to have checkers set up in there. And one of my favorite memories, I know this seems silly, Rachel, but one of my favorite memories from my 40th birthday trip when we were there with my kids a couple years ago and my parents. We took an afternoon break from the Magic Kingdom. It was Christmas time, the week before Christmas, which is my mom's fault. That's when she had me. I didn't choose my birthday. So it was a very busy time to go to Disney and celebrate. And we went over to Wilderness Lodge and into the Boulder Ridge Villas and relaxed in this room with some snacks we had purchased at Roaring Fork next door. And we played checkers and just relaxed and hung out and giggled. Those were gone. And now they have this little like side nook where they've got this electronic table game thing going on, which looks neat, but is
That's
not
a
my jam.
yeah,
Not a
that's not
bit.
very wilderness.
No, I was like, "What is this? Somebody get haul this thing out of here." I don't know what's going on, but, the rest of the area is absolutely fabulous. That building, again, is all villas, various sizes. Is it 3 stories? I can't remember if it's 3 or 4 stories off the top of my head. I'm trying to picture it, but it is a very impressive building in and of itself.
Yeah.
And it does have some walking trails around it and a pool area as well. We'll talk a little bit more about pools in just a minute, but another fabulous option. Especially if you have a family that needs a little bit more space, or even if the main lodge building is full, there's absolutely nothing wrong with staying in this area. And just like Copper Creek, you can book these rooms at Boulder Ridge at a regular nightly rate, just like any hotel room if you are not a Disney Vacation Club member. So, super handy option. Love the options there. Anything else you wanted to say about those
Well,
rooms,
I do
Rachel?
wanna
Did you have a
say
breakdown
about
of those?
with Boulder Ridge, so, I'll mention so my 40th birthday is coming up this year. I'm trying to decide we are going to Walt Disney World, trying to decide where I want to stay, and I do have a family of 5. My youngest is now 3, so she is part of our room total now, so I do have to be mindful of that wherever we are
Oh,
booking, but the deluxe studios at Boulder Ridge do sleep 5, so that is actually
okay.
on my short list of places to stay because one room will accommodate all of us. It has the queen bed, a size pull down bed, the Murphy bed, and then a single pull down bed as well. So the
Uh-huh.
deluxe studios over on the Boulder Ridge side do sleep 5. So if you're a family of 5 like I am, that is an option for you without having to pay for the extra room, that the guaranteed connecting room. But other than that, the one bedroom and two bedroom villas do sleep the same amount as they do over at Copper Creek with sleeping 4 adults or 8 adults. So, but that is a nice thing about the studios there at Boulder Ridge is that they can fit an extra guest in.
Okay, excellent information and good for larger families. That's
Yes.
great. So we've talked about a lot of things at Wilderness Lodge, but we haven't talked yet about what our main conversation is usually about, and that's the food.
Yeah.
So there is food at Wilderness Lodge.
Quite a bit of food
So
actually.
yeah, there is quite a bit of foods. At first, we'll get out of the way what's probably my least favorite option there, but that doesn't mean it's no good. I just like some other things better. And that is the Storybook Dining at Artist Point, which coincidentally is their signature type restaurant at
Mhm.
this location. So that means it's going to be a little bit pricier. It's 2 credits if you're using Disney Dining Plan credits for it. And this is also a character meal, which is a very fun thing.
So, yes, this is a character meal where you can meet Snow White and 2 of the 7 dwarfs. Dopey and Grumpy also make appearances at the restaurant, and all 3 will come around to the tables. There is another character that you can meet there, and that is the Evil Queen. However, the Evil Queen does not come around to the tables. The Evil Queen is stationed towards the front of the restaurant, and you can have individual families taken pictures taken there with her. So, this restaurant I have eaten here before, and the food was good, but it's a little bit difficult if you have, picky eaters because you do get individual plated entrees, but you also have shared starters and desserts too. So, and the
And it is a
kids,
fixed price menu,
yes,
correct? So
yes, it
the
is a
price is
fixed price
set and
menu.
then you're. Mhm.
Yes.
And it's not bad. It's just my least favorite of the options there. And I
Mhm.
do love Snow White and the dwarfs, of
Yeah.
course. The Evil Queen, when I was there, was pretty frightening. I mean, she was right on in her role. So if you have any Snow White fans or Evil Queen fans or dwarf fans, certainly by all means give this place a try. It's a fun restaurant, but I wouldn't put it up there in my top character meals at Disney World.
Right, and I think probably because so many character meals are a buffet, not all of them are, but so many of them are, and this one not being with, the my biggest thing is the kid options. There for children, you can get their prime rib, which, not a bad deal if your kids like that, or grilled chicken or grilled fish. My oldest will not eat he might eat prime rib today, but when we first went there, he was not into that kind of food. And I actually did ask our server if there was any way that we could get chicken tenders for him, and they were able to do so
Oh,
because
okay. Yep.
yeah, and the reason why I had read before that Roaring Fork being so close to the restaurant that it is easy for them to have things from even if they may even share a kitchen, one kitchen to the next, to be able to have food from one to the other. So I did ask and they were able to oblige that. Not every restaurant can, but this one was able to bring out chicken tenders for my oldest. So that definitely made that evening more enjoyable for him.
And this restaurant is located down the hallway just from the main lobby. It's very easy to find, easy to get to, whether you're coming from down at the boat launch or from the buses. So definitely give it a try if it sounds like something that you think you'd enjoy. And you know, try to not cry about the fact that you're not eating at the other restaurant we're about to talk about. That is the hustling and bustling Whispering Canyon Cafe, which is located right off of the main lobby. It is open air to the main lobby. There are no doors or windows or anything closing it off. So this place is full of fun antics. Some of the best cast members at Walt Disney World and their entertainment they provide while they're serving you. Sometimes you wonder whether they want to be serving you or not, but that's all
Mhm.
part of the whole game here. And if you have not been there before, I don't want to spoil too much for you, but it is a lot of fun. And I haven't even mentioned the food yet. So, this is one of those options that offers an all you can eat family style type skillet if you choose to order the skillet. There are a couple different skillet options for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then they also have a full menu of other things. So if you don't want a huge meal and you just want a pork barbecue sandwich or a salad or something like that, it's absolutely an option also. And that's one of the things that I like the most about it. It's more I don't budget friendly is not the word I want. It's just it makes it easier for more budgets because you can spend more or you can
Yes.
spend less. You can mix and match. It's also pretty diet friendly in the
Mhm.
fact that it's not like everybody needs to eat the all you can eat skillet. If you want a
Right.
smaller meal or you need a smaller meal for whatever reason, that's an option. With a lot of restaurants at Disney, when they serve family style, everyone is served family style, and you're all stuck having to pay that hefty charge for that full meal, even if you're
Mhm.
not all eating it. So I just think this is a perfect mix of all of the options, best of both worlds type thing there.
Yeah,
Which
last
reminds me, have you watched the Hannah Montana 20th reunion yet?
I have not, and I don't know where you're going with that with Whispering Canyon.
Well, it was I said the best of both worlds. You didn't catch that?
Okay. No, I'm sorry, I did not.
It
Hannah
had
Montana
no
was past my time.
okay, well, we'll move on
Sorry.
beyond that, but I saw it last week, so
Okay, well, last time I was there, I actually was with a group and nobody got a skillet. We all ordered individual items and several of us ordered the steak based off of our server's recommendation. It was wonderful. They had a great steak there and that would be something that I would get again next time that I go. But yeah, it is definitely go in with a good attitude and good spirits and be ready to have fun. But we talked about the noise of the lobby, and there is noise in the lobby, but when that restaurant, especially for dinner time, is open, there is noise in the lobby. So, but it's all in good fun and good games, and
it's
definitely
a root
one.
into in
Yes.
loud place, you're it's not somewhere to go for a quiet meal, but it is a fun place to be. And again, we don't want to give away too many surprises if you haven't been there before, but they do have some fun things that go on
Mhm.
there and absolutely plenty of food. And it's in a great location there. And when you walk into that Wilderness Lodge lobby, most times of the day, you're smelling the barbecue from
Yeah.
Whispering Canyon
Yeah.
because it is right there. And you could actually see their smokers in their outbuilding where they cook a lot of this, which is something newer, I think, that came around the time that they were clearing that area back there for the Cascade cabins at Copper Creek because I don't remember them being there years ago. I'm sure they were somewhere, but they must have been tucked away or housed in a
Mhm.
spot that you couldn't see them from the upper lodge room. So again, it's just a great restaurant. It's a lot of fun. It's worth a trip from really wherever you are on property. You can take the bus from any one of the Disney parks or Disney Springs to get to the Wilderness Lodge and dine there, or again that watercraft coming from over at the Magic Kingdom. So definitely recommend it.
Yeah, it's a great place for families, for your kids. It's very kid friendly.
Did you
Should
guys
we
have the milkshakes there? So they also have bottomless milkshakes, and they have a few different flavors, and, they're the type of thing that I could remember just feeling sickly after eating there years ago because
No, well, I we didn't
when
know.
you are
I did
trying to
not
get the most bang for your buck with the dining
Yeah.
plan. And instead of any other beverage, you ordered a bottomless shake and you have 2 shakes before your skillet gets there and, like, you're on the floor and
Mm-mm.
that's it. You better be staying in a room at the lodge if you're eating like that. Those days are long gone for
Yeah.
me, but I can appreciate those who wanna give it a go and give that a try.
Yeah, no, I was there in July last time, and I don't know about you, but when I'm super hot and it's super hot outside, anything
Mhm,
heavy like a milkshake on my stomach is going to make me
mhm.
miserable, so
Yeah. Don't do that then. Stay away
no,
from that.
definitely did not do that. Alright, so should we stay inside the lodge for our next choice
Sure,
before
which
Okay.
where are we heading? Where are we
So I'm
heading next?
thinking Roaring Fork. Let's stay over on that side of the building itself. So Roaring Fork
Okay.
is the quick service location at the lodge. It's located inside of the main lodge, off the lobby. When you're walking through the lobby, head towards the left. You'll actually go down a ramp. You'll pass Artist Point and turn a corner, and there you'll find Roaring Fork, tucked away, really kind of in the back corner there. But I love Roaring Fork, and I know that you do too. There just seems
I
to be a lot
do.
of great options and variety.
So, like most of Disney's quick service restaurants, they do offer mobile ordering there. So, that's a good option if you're staying at the lodge and you want to order your breakfast from your room. They're very speedy there. They have
Mhm.
some absolutely giant, I guess they're called bear claws, like the huge, larger than a dinner plate, cinnamon swirly dessert type thing. Those are pretty popular there. I think they limit the amount that they have. So, I'm assuming they make them fresh every day. They're not the kind of thing that are prepackaged, they're fresh things. They also have the magic cookie bars there, which I think are my favorite dessert, anywhere at Disney. I have found them that I enjoy there and at Port Orleans Resort Riverside, they have them. So that's something that's always a go-to of mine there. But in addition to the typical burgers and chicken tenders, they have some other options, different barbecue options. I think they sometimes have brisket and that sort of thing there. So similar type food to what you'd have in Whispering Canyon, but quick service. They do have their drink refill station there as well if you are interested in purchasing a rapid refill mug there as part of your stay. And there seems to be ample seating there
Yeah.
also. Certainly, there are times a day that are busier than others, but they have a pretty decent sized indoor seating area. And then outside, just outside the lodge doors, they're heading out towards the pool area. There's a covered area with a lot of tables and chairs as well. So
Yeah.
I think
And
it's a great option.
it is a great option, a good location too. If you're coming from the boat from the Magic Kingdom, you kind of walk
Mhm.
through that area to get there. So it's a fantastic location if you want to grab a drink or a snack on your way back up to your room. But yeah, there's plenty of seating inside, less seating outside, but it's a wonderful area and a little spot. And I love the cupcakes that they have that look like the campfire on top.
Yeah,
I just
those
like
are
to look at
super
them and
cute.
take pictures of them. So
I also like to take pictures and then eat them.
okay.
So, perfect. That works well. We can go there together. They also do an afternoon cookie decorating there, I think. At least they used 2 years ago. Let me see if that's still on my sheet here. I printed out the activity sheet, which I will talk about later. I don't see it on here, but I swear they still do it. I think it's at like 2 o'clock every afternoon. They do some cookie decorating in the lobby. So I will need to check on that and see if it still happens, but I'm pretty sure it does. It might not be every day, but
Well, that's
it's
fun.
fun. They're fun there.
Yes.
They have some super sweet cast members, and it's always nice, and you're certainly treated well and welcomed there, whether you're a resort guest or not. And I think we're down to just two more places where you can get food inside.
Mhm.
One of them is just a lounge, which is still a super nice little lounge, very cozy and comfy. It's called Territory Lounge. It's on that ramp that Rachel mentioned, heading down to Roaring Fork from the main lobby area, not far from Artist Point. They do have some small plates there, little appetizers and that type of thing, and pretty much anything you can imagine off of a bar menu. So that's a place to go and relax if you're inside. Did you have any comments on that, Rachel?
No, I've never been to Territory Lounge. I mean, I've passed it plenty of times, and I've never actually been inside, so
I
I
recall
know that
having a s'mores old fashioned there once, and that was quite
hmm,
tasty. Very different. And then the
yeah,
last place that I think is worth mentioning that we didn't touch on earlier, so I will now, is the Old Faithful Club, which is the private club lounge area for guests who are staying club level at Disney's Wilderness Lodge. So I've talked about that in a recent episode during my stay there because we did upgrade to include the club lounge experience with our stay. And a lot of the food that's served up at the Old Faithful Club on the seventh floor of the main lodge area is food that is prepared for other restaurants at the hotel, and then they bring it up there to the lounge guests. So, kind of the best of all of the options end up
Yes.
there. So that's nice as well. So, and then we are down to just one more restaurant, but it's one of my favorite restaurants on all of Disney property. So I guess we may have saved the best for last here.
I think we did, and I would agree. So this is a pool bar. We've talked about this before with our top 5 pool bars because it both ended up on our number 1 of this, and
Mhm.
not really something I would call a pool bar, but Disney calls it a pool bar, so we're gonna keep with that.
Yeah, it's really not at all. I
Yeah.
mean, I would never walk into it in my bathing suit from the pool,
Right.
but
Yes.
they have servers from this bar tending the pool areas, so that
Yes.
makes a difference.
So this is Geyser Point Bar and Grill. This is an open air venue. It is covered. It is a kind of like a large, big covered patio area, and it is you're seated on a first come, first serve basis. There is a way to join kind of their virtual queue that they have with seating as you get close to it. And you do have to be pretty close. We've tried this from a couple of different places at the lodge before, and you have to be really close to be able to join their walk up list. That's what they call it, the walk up list.
Yeah, the
So,
walk and with that walk-up list, I could remember trying it while arriving and outside and, kept refreshing to see if I was close enough. I needed to be towards the end of the lobby near where that spring is, the bubbling water and the little bridge, to actually be close enough for it to say like, "Okay, you're close enough and you can join our wait list now." So, still not all the way down to the restaurant, still in the main lodge building. If you wanted to hang out and relax there until your table's ready for you, you could definitely do that,
mhm.
and it's very convenient. I don't know if you've ever used the walk-up list before, but at this particular one, they sent me a message to let me know it was almost my turn and to make my way towards the restaurant. And then by the time I got there, they were ready for me. So that's a
Yeah.
super convenient option because dining reservations are not an option here. So you
Mhm.
cannot schedule a time ahead of time there.
Yes, and also they also do a great job of kind of giving you an estimate time based on your party size when you
Uh-huh.
join the walk-up list of how long that will take. There also is seating there out by the lake if you would prefer to sit there while you wait for your table to be called. If it's a nice evening, it's a wonderful place to sit and relax too. And at the lot, so at the point at Geyser Point, I know that you've been there since they've changed the seating. I have not. So it used to
Uh-huh.
be patio type seating with the big cushions and the low to the ground and everything like that. But you've said that they've changed that to more traditional tables in the most, I guess, what year and a half that it's been?
It must have been pretty recent. I could remember being there with you, Rachel, at Christmas time. How many years ago was that? Was that a year and a half or was that two and a half
That
years
was in
ago?
2024. It was right after
Okay.
Thanksgiving that, yes,
Right.
and they still had
And
the patio type seating then.
right, I remember having to sit on a pretty low to the ground couch and having a
Mhm.
coffee table, and I ordered wings, and it was slightly problematic. I was a
Yeah.
little messy, but it was okay, and I never minded it because it's such a relaxing place, but I think it had just become such a popular spot for people to dine rather than just going there for drinks that now they have changed it all out, and there were no longer any of those comfortable patio type seats before remaining anymore. It's all just regular dining tables and chairs, which are still very comfortable and
Mhm.
fine for eating. So it works well. And then those couch type patio chairs are the ones that are outside facing the lake. So they're not part of this actual restaurant, but they are right there out facing Bay Lake. So if you wanted to sit there and relax before or after a meal, that would be an option. There's also a quick service takeout window down
Mhm.
there at Geyser Point. So that's kind of like a little bonus addition there where they also have a refill station for the rapid refill mugs. So if you're over on that side of the resort and don't want to head all the way up to the main building, then that's an option too.
Yeah, I'll also mention one of the reasons why people aren't necessarily going down there for drinks is because the food is just so good. If this took
Mhm.
dining reservations, this would have made my top 5 ADR list for later on in our show.
Absolutely.
But I can highly recommend the bison burger. I get that every single time that I go. It is wonderful. It's probably the best bison burger I've ever had before. So, and it's consistent. And I hope they never take that off their menu. They've changed things up over the years. They've changed a couple of things, but the bison burger has stayed, and for good reason because it is just so
Mhm.
delicious to eat. And They used to have seasonal margarita flights, and they don't anymore, and I remember asking my server about it last time we were there, what happened to the flights. She said they took them away, but if they get enough guest feedback, maybe they'll bring them back. So if you go there, ask about those flights and why they took them away
That's
and
the
can they get them
feedback, huh?
back.
They do always have some specialty drinks, though. In the center of this restaurant is a large bar that you're able to sit at, just like a regular bar up on a stool. The bartenders there are always fantastic and can mix up whatever you'd like for you. So I highly recommend whether you're just going there for drinks or for a full meal or a snack, it's a great place to unwind at any time during the day. During lunch and dinner time or later evening hours. Of course, you can see the electrical water pageant
Mhm.
a little bit from there, depending on how many people are standing in between you
Yeah.
and the lake. You never know exactly what your view is going to be there. So I think that covers all of the dining options there. But we
Yeah.
also haven't talked about one of my other favorite things about almost all resort hotels, and that's the swimming pools.
Yes, and the swimming pool here, especially it's beautiful. I love just the back of this resort is just beautiful where you have the waterfalls that do not go down into the swimming pool, but then you it does look as if it does flow right down into the swimming pool. But yeah, the swimming pool is very typically a lot of people go and they enjoy a pool day at this resort, much like you would see at Yacht and Beach Club because the pool is pretty spectacular here.
And we do have 2 separate pool areas. So
Mhm.
the what I would call the main pool area, which is situated between the 2 wings of the main lodge building, and they call that the Copper Creek Springs Pool. I think it used to be called Silver Creek years ago, and now we've renamed it Copper Creek once they added Copper Creek in there, but I'll have to check that out. I forgot about it to just now, but I almost called it the Silver Creek Pool, and I don't know where I got that from, but I swear it used to be a thing, so I will fact check that later.
Well, there it is what they called the springs is called Silver Creek, so
Is it
that makes
okay? Is
sense.
it still called Silver Creek, though?
I don't know if it's still called Silver Creek, but at least it
Because I
was
feel
when
like
it was
maybe it's Copper Creek now.
Copper Creek now. Okay, so at one point there was
I
a
don't know.
Silver Creek there, so now I guess
Maybe
it
there
turned
still is. We've got
copper.
2 creeks. We don't
Yeah.
know. We don't know. Lots of names here.
Yes.
So it is the larger of the 2 pools there. It does have a little bit of a rock formation that you can climb up in order to slide down the water slide. It is a 67-foot water slide. They have 2 hot tubs there, bubbling springs or something like that they call them. And the way they are named, I can't remember the exact terms, but I kind of laughed at them because I'm like, why are they named that? And like the one was like was hotter than the other, and it was pretty noticeable that there's one that's more appropriate for younger kiddos and
Okay.
families to be in, and there's one that was a very hot temperature. They're right next to each other, and you have to go through the splash area to get to them. That's another more recent addition
Mhm.
there. Years ago, they just had one of those 18-inch little wading pools for the kiddos, but now they have the whole setup there with the spraying water and the dump bucket and a little slide there for them, and it's a great spot for younger kids to cool down if they don't want to be in the large swimming pool. So
Yes.
there used to be an actual bar there, but that's gone. And now you have Geyser Point. So
Well,
I'm
there
not
you go.
complaining about that. But
Yeah.
and then the other pool is over on the opposite side of the Copper Creek wing, and that is just outside the Boulder Ridge building. And that is the Boulder Ridge Cove pool. So that's the second pool there. It is the smaller of the two. It does have a very generously sized hot tub, large hot tub, and it is a plenty hot one. There are bathrooms over by that as well. Both of the pool areas have bathrooms if you need them. The towels are provided, of course, and this also has little shaded seating areas, like with a
Mhm.
roof over, kind of like a cabana. It's not something that you could book as a private cabana like some deluxe resorts have. It's a first come, first serve type situation. So that's a nice setup.
If you're looking for something a little bit quieter, head over to that Boulder Ridge pool there, located outside of Boulder Ridge Villas. And then if you want something a little bit more lively, more for the family to get involved in, Copper Creek Springs Pool will have that for you because of all the poolside activities that will take place throughout the day. There will be pool parties, trivia, other activities, games, relays. And a recreation host is usually stationed outside of the pool, leading this at all day that can give you details. But if you do like something a little bit quieter, head over instead to Boulder Ridge Cove and enjoy that beautiful pool there too.
So let's chat just for a second there about that pool party situation there. So as we talked about, there are some different views that you can book. And if you have a room that's going to look out at the water. Most likely, it's going to look out at this pool. If you are concerned about sound level in your room, that's something I would be concerned with if you are facing out towards this pool and you have kiddos that take an afternoon nap, because you will hear that pool party music happening every afternoon from your interior facing room there. So I would recommend booking a fireworks view room, because those, well, are in the same wing over at Wilderness Lodge. Those are the rooms that face out towards the Magic Kingdom. So you're not going to have the noise from the pool parties there. In addition, they actually do a nighttime pool party there at the Copper Creek Springs pool, and that happens on Monday and Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. I don't know if that's all year long, but it is happening at this time of year. It's something that's currently on their recreation schedule for the resort. So that's something to take in consideration too. It may not just be afternoon, it might be some evening pool parties also. So definitely check in with the hotel about that if you have any questions or concerns on that. Another thing they have is walking paths all
Mhm.
over the place. We did a lot of walking when we were there, my husband in particular, and there were plenty of trails for him to walk around the resort. And they also have a fitness center. And I did not know until I was just there last month that there is actually a sauna in the fitness center also. And the sign on the door did show that it is open 24 hours in that Boulder Ridge building. You just need your Magic Band or resort key card to go ahead and open that door and give you access to it. So I had no idea that there was a sauna there before. And I have looked online on Disney's official, like on their website and
Mhm.
under the fitness center, I saw no mention of the sauna. So I'm very surprised that it's there. And I don't know why it's kept a secret, but it's out
Well, and it's
now.
kind of a hidden area too. Walked past it, but I've never gone inside and bothered to look
Mhm.
inside of it. So it always just seems so off limits. But I think next time I stay there, I'm gonna have to just even go and step in. I don't see why I need to go sweat in a sauna after sweating in the parks, but I at least wanna go check it out and see how it
Just see
looks.
how it is. Yes.
Yes.
And there are two separate entrances that I saw. One is an exterior entrance coming from out on the pool area side of things, I guess. And then the other is an interior entrance kind of off of the lobby area there in the Boulder Ridge building. They also do a walking tour every morning that they call the Wonders of the Lodge tour. It is done daily at 9 a.m. And all you need to do in order to participate is show up by 9 a.m. right in front of the large fireplace in the main lodge building. It is a free tour, no cost at all. And there will be a ranger there, a park ranger from Wilderness Lodge, who will take you around and teach you different things, explain about how the lodge was built and some history about the lodge itself and the architecture and different representations that are there. So there is some walking involved with the tour, but of course it's just around the Wilderness Lodge property. So wear comfortable shoes, but it's nothing that you need to be too athletic to be able to participate in.
Yeah, outside of the lodge, there's an area called Humphrey's Hideout that is near the Copper Creek Springs pool. They will also have family activities and crafts throughout the day here. There are some daily crafts, but then other days of the week will offer either some additional crafts or there is a Mickey tie dye that you can take part in a few days a week also. And near Geyser Point, you'll also see a campfire. They do sell s'mores kits. So bring your own, or if you don't have any, you just happen to stumble across this, Disney will be more than happy to sell you a s'mores kit for your family because that does sound like something that, I would enjoy doing as an adult, just being able to go out and make s'mores, which would be nice. There's also an arcade there. The arcade hours are pretty generous, 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. So if you are dying to play some arcade games while you are there, you can head over to Button and Bell's Game Arcade, which is near the Wilderness Lodge Mercantile and open daily from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Well, Rachel, I did a few years ago learn something about the arcades, and that is that if you can tolerate being in them with all of the bells and whistles happening, many of them have massage chairs, and they might be a nice thing at the end of the day. So that might be
Could
something
be.
worth taking a peek into an arcade for. I wouldn't be in there to play any games, but if there's a massage chair involved, I may have a little bit of interest. And that Humphreys Hideaway area that you mentioned, so Humphrey is the main mascot. He's the bear of Wilderness Lodge, and that's where that name comes from. This area that they use there for these family activities is an area that used to be one of the kids' clubs. And I think that was before your kids' time there. And my kids have never been
Mhm.
able to use one of the kids' clubs at Disney also. But do you remember several years back when they kind of started a push for those? And it was, you could make a reservation for your kids to go to the kids' club for the evening. And they did all types of different interactive activities with them, and they could have dinner there. It was something that really seemed to be like they were trying to get it to take off again with a newly scheduled plan of how everything was going to work. I feel like you used to be able to book it like babysitting. And then maybe in like 2018 or 2019, they redid a bunch of them. Do you remember that? There was a Sandcastle Club, I think it was called, over at Beach Club. And I think all of these spaces are just kind of sitting there now because it just fizzled out in 2020 and then
Mhm.
they never started them again. But it was very much like what the kids club would be like if you took your kids on Disney Cruise Line and they
Yeah.
experienced the Oceaneer Club and they went there and like independently played with some counselors and that type of thing. And then you pick them up later after having dinner or something. So there was
Yeah.
one over at the Polynesian, I think
Mhm.
Neverland Club, maybe. That's just a
Yeah.
super random thing I thought of that I thought I would throw out there because I think that's what was in the space at there, that Humphreys area that you were referring to that they now use for some activities. It used to be like an actual kids club they were
Yeah,
making it.
and there was another contemporary too. I know my oldest was born in
Yes.
2016, and that was open at that time.
Mhm.
And we never looked into it for him, but I remember walking by and taking pictures of the outside
Mhm.
located in the main atrium there on at Disney's Contemporary Resort. So, and that was, I think, one of the last ones that was added. I could be wrong on that, but I remember there was something about it. Either it was redone, uh, or there was something about the way that they brought that in. But yeah, so
Uh-huh.
and also during when these were open too, you had longer park hours as well with the park Magic
Yes.
Kingdom
Yes.
opening, staying open so late at night. So it does make sense that there might have been a push for parents wanted something to have their kids be able to be at the resort, but those did definitely fizzle out.
Mhm. Like many of the resorts, they have a find a friend option also, which is just the little characters that they place around, like a cardboard cutout character somewhere hidden in the lobby area. And at Disney's Wilderness Lodge, it is Chip and Dale. It's a little photo prop that you could find. And once you find that, if you head over to the front desk in the main lodge area, they will have a little surprise for you. So that's a little bit of a fun adventure for the kiddos to have. I believe they move the Chip and Dale around every day to a new
Mhm.
location. So it's a little fun adventure for them every day of the week.
And see, the only other thing that I think I have to mention is over there, and that would be the Mercantile. I did mention the Mercantile with being close to the arcade,
Mhm.
but this is one of my favorite resort shops, this Mercantile, and there is a totem pole outside of it that features Mickey Mouse located on that totem pole. So it is a very
Mhm.
sweet nod to the other totem poles there, and you can buy little souvenirs of that totem pole to take home with you. And yeah, it's one of my favorite resort stores. It's a little bit different and unique from what I think some of the other resort stores look like in the
Yeah.
park
I
in the
believe
resort.
Humphrey the Bear might be included on that totem pole as well. And one of the things that I love the most about that particular store is that they have a lot of resort specific merchandise in there. I
Mhm.
love resort specific merchandise. And in addition to the little totem poles, like you mentioned, that you can take home, like buy the small version and take home. They always have some Christmas ornaments and sweatshirts and jackets and all kinds of merchandise specifically for Disney's Wilderness Lodge. So I love that option there.
Yes, it's a good one, and I have a nice Wilderness Lodge stainless steel cup that I got a few years ago that I still use. So Disney has upped their game over the last couple of years as far as merchandise is concerned, and
Mhm.
Wilderness Lodge has some of the best of it.
Well, thanks for hanging in there, everybody, and listening to us go on about our favorite resort because
We sure did.
I could continue to talk about it all day and reminisce about stories of fun times we've had at the lodge, but really it just comes down to it being an incredible property that Disney has put together for us to be able to enjoy time with our friends and family. They have set the stage for us to make incredible memories, and I think Wilderness Lodge is among the best of the best of those options as a Disney Resort Collection hotel. So if you've always dreamed of staying there, I would say to go ahead and do your best to give it a try and let us know your thoughts on Wilderness Lodge. And we appreciate you listening.
Right. Today's top five, we are discussing our top five ADRs at Walt Disney World Resort. If you do not know what an ADR is, that stands for Advanced Dining Reservation, which we highly recommend if you plan on doing sit down table service restaurants. It is highly recommended that you book these ADRs. These windows will open at 60 days in advance. If you are staying on property, that is 60 days from your check in day plus your length of stay window at that point. For everybody else, if you're staying off property or if you're a local coming to visit, it's 60 days from the day that you plan on visiting the restaurant. How you get that 60-day plus window is that you have your reservation linked to your My Disney Experience account, and then you can see when that opening date will be, and your window will open at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the morning of that 60-day window. Missy, will you start us out with your number five?
So this was a tough one, Rachel. This entire list was tough because there are a lot of restaurants at Walt Disney World and many, many of them accept dining reservations. So
Yes.
it wasn't easy to put it together, but probably these are also all places you've heard me talk about before if you're a regular listener here with us. So maybe you can guess along with me what they are here. So for my number five, I chose the Sci Fi Dine In Theater restaurant at Disney's Hollywood Studios. I think it's very unique. It's not like something you can experience really anywhere else that I am aware of, nowhere I've been for sure. Each of the car to the tables in the restaurant is set up like a car as if you are watching a drive-in movie. Now, drive-in movies are something we still have here around home, so I'm aware that they still exist. We love going to them in the summertime. In the wintertime, it's not an option because it's freezing where I live. So I do appreciate the whole concept of the restaurant. The food is pretty good there. It's not the best food ever, but it's good enough for me. That's for sure. And it's really the experience that makes it here at this location. So, Sci-Fi Dine-In at Disney's Hollywood Studios. If you don't want to have to cram into one of the little cars, or if you'd like to be able to sit and actually face the people you're dining with, because of course, if you're seated in a car, you're seated just like in a car with the front row and a second row behind it, and you're facing the screen. So they do have what they call some limos, and the limos are basically regular tables situated between the front and the trunk of a car, kind of closed in there. So those are intended for larger parties. That's something you can ask about when you arrive if they happen to have them available or not. Certainly don't go there with the expectation of getting one of those limos, but they are an option if you have a necessity for one of them. Anyway, sci-fi. What's your number five?
So I'm going kind of a similar direction with experience. And this one is Space 220, which is an incredible experience to have located at Epcot. Not necessarily the best food in the world. Although the food is decent, but just from the moment that you enter in the restaurant to the moment that you leave, it is all an experience. It's a big production. Having the screens there and looking out into space is very, very fun. And I feel like when it first opened, there was a lot more things that you could see on the screens and they changed quite a bit. And the last two times that I've been there, it's been a little bit kind of more repetitive from what I've seen, from what I originally saw. But I know my husband doesn't join us on every single trip. So we went the first time that we ate there, it was myself, my children, my parents, and my sister and her family. And so on our next trip, when my husband was joining us, I asked my son, I said, "What's one restaurant that you want to go and eat at while we were at Walt Disney World?" And he said the space one because I really want to take dad to it. So for
Aw.
me, that's why it makes the list because it is a really neat and fun experience, especially if you have fans of space in your family.
Okay. Well, my number four will be very short because it is Space 220 at Epcot.
How appropriate.
For many of the reasons you just said, I also appreciate that they have a lounge there,
Mhm.
just a small separate section of the main restaurant area where you are able to order food, but are not required to order the same fixed price menu as you do in the regular restaurant. And it's just a lot of fun. Appreciate the adventure of getting up there in the space elevator, going all the way up that very high elevator to space. And then once you return back down at the end of your meal, back to Epcot below, it's just a fun experience.
Yes.
And I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, but if you've never been to space, this could be a great option for you. But if you get motion sick, don't look down the middle of the space elevator when you're taking off because
Yes.
it could make you a little bit ill.
Yeah.
Overall, I like the food there. I like the steak, I like the starry calamari, and I especially like several of the mixed drinks that they have there. I've had a few of them, and I appreciate and enjoy those. So, I think Space 220 is a great option. Now, it's hard for me to choose it because it is a higher priced menu and because you're in Epcot and you have all of World Showcase and
Yes.
all of the amazing food that goes along with it, but sometimes it just works out best with the plan,
Mhm.
and, there are definitely trips that I would plan my Epcot day around Space 220.
And I guess I should clarify, the food is good, but as you mentioned, it is a more expensive meal, so I think that's
Uh-huh.
part of it for me too, that because it's so expensive, is the food necessarily worth it? But they do also have a lot of really nice, I guess, kids drinks too that are fun. They have one that they make with
Mhm.
Pop Rocks that's really fun for the to see them watch.
Right. Or
So my
adults. I mean, it could be
yeah,
for anybody.
that's true. Yes, very true.
You can have Pop Rocks if you want them,
You sure
Rachel.
can. Yeah, they're blue. So my number 4 is also at Epcot. This is in the Japan Pavilion, and this is Shikisai, located, in the main pagoda there. It is up on the 2nd floor above Mitsukoshi's store, and this is really adjacent to Teppan-Edo, which is the hibachi place there, but this is towards the front of the building overlooking, World Showcase Lagoon. It's an excellent view of that area, especially if you have a window seat over World Showcase Lagoon, but I love sushi. I love Japanese food in general. They have a very generous menu, and I've had some excellent meals there. And they do change out seasonally. That was kind of when this restaurant reopened. It used to be Tokyo Dining. When they reopened, they really made it a seasonal menu, but it is a large menu and quite impressive. So that's my number 4.
Moving on to my number 3, I am staying in Epcot, but very opposite side of the park as you and nothing like what you're talking about this time. I'm over at Garden Grill in the Land Pavilion. It's been a family favorite of ours for many years. We love the character interactions there. I think it's a super unique concept that the restaurant itself, the tables are on a very slow rotating platform where you circle over the Living with the Land ride. Love that they use the produce grown, the vegetables grown in the greenhouses, albeit maybe it's one head of lettuce a year. I don't know how much they actually provide, but they say they do it, and I am here for it. I am a believer. I want to believe it. You know, I live in rural Pennsylvania. We're on a small farm here, so I have an appreciation for that whole farm aspect of things. I have ridden on it before with some local friends who kind of pick it apart and say, "This isn't authentic. That's not this isn't right, and that's not right." And, hush, just let me have this. It's
Yeah.
nice. Going
Yeah.
by I live in an old farmhouse, going by that farmhouse makes me feel at home at my home away from home. So I just love how it all comes together. We enjoy the food there at Garden Grill. The only downside for me is that I don't eat strawberries and they have a strawberry dessert though.
Oh,
So
no.
that's a little bit sad. There have been times that they'll bring cupcakes out for the kids, and I'll maybe snatch one of those instead because they prefer the berry dessert. But it's a great family service style restaurant in that they'll bring you all you want, and it's basically like having a Thanksgiving harvest meal every day of the year. And the breakfast there is great too. So I mean, I'm all for it. Garden Grill.
All right, my number 3 takes us out of Epcot, and we're heading towards Disney Springs, and this is
Okay.
Chef Art Smith's Homecoming.
Oh,
I am a Southerner. I enjoy Southern food, and this place has excellent gravy. And I am very picky about what gravy I will eat. And they have wonderful gravy. Their gravy gets my stamp of approval. They have
okay.
really good food in general. We've had a couple of different types of meals there. We've had meals where we've made dining reservations. You order off the menu. Missy and I have actually had some meals that were almost cater type situations where they just brought out platters of food
Yeah,
to
they'll do
us.
they'll do a like a private event for a
Yeah.
large party that and they'll it's like a pre-order type thing with that, yes,
Yes.
and they're
Yeah.
giant platters of their fried chicken and that
Yeah.
sort of thing.
And it's always very filling and always a crowd pleaser, so and still a pretty hard dining reservation to get depending on what day of your trip you're trying to get a reservation for homecoming, but well worth the trip, I believe.
Okay, yes, I enjoy Homecoming also, but it is not on my list. But I am finally leaving Epcot. I'm not going too far from there. You may know exactly where I'm heading, right over to Disney's Beach Club Resort
Yes.
to Beaches and Cream. I love their soda shop there. I don't love it quite as much now as I did back before their big expansion and refurbishment. I totally understand why they needed to do that. It's such a popular option, but it just seemed a little more authentic to an old soda shop when it was smaller. But still, regardless, it's a very difficult reservation to get because it is still a relatively small space as far as Disney restaurants go. They have ice cream as well as some meals. They're always cooking something up on the grill there, whether it be burgers or their onion rings or all different kinds of things. There's a French dip they serve there that I've had before. Lots of goodies. And then, of course, you can get ice cream sundaes from all kinds of sizes, from reasonable to absolutely outrageous. The kitchen sink there
Mhm.
with, you need to go with a group to try to consume all of that, or to get through it before it all melts, even because there's so much to it there. If you haven't been there before to experience it, I do encourage you to give that a try on your next trip. You can get there through the back International Gateway entrance gate of Epcot, or by taking the Skyliner, walking, or boat from Disney's Hollywood Studios. So, Beaches and Cream Soda Shop, my number two.
So my number 2 takes us back into a park, but this is Disney's Animal Kingdom theme park, and that is Tusker House. I cannot leave a character meal off of my list because of having small children, and Tusker House is my favorite character meal. So I love Tusker House. I love the safari outfits. I wish Minnie Mouse was there. She is not there, sadly, but you do have Daisy located at Tusker House. But I love the food too, and I think they have a unique menu, and Boma is one of my favorites. I left Boma off my list, but some of the food can kind of be similar that you can find between the 2 locations, so I absolutely love Tusker House.
Okay, I don't think no, nothing from Animal Kingdom made my list, but nothing for Magic Kingdom did either, now that I'm
Well,
looking at,
yeah.
because my last one is actually at a resort hotel. It's something we've talked about here in detail before, and it is Ohana at Disney's Polynesian Village Resort. So it has changed through the years, sometimes for the worse, occasionally for the better. I am here for it either way. I love Ohana. I love our memories there. I love the current experience there, the ambiance of the area, the tropical feel of the Polynesian resort in general, the smell of the food, all of the things. I am a fan. Certainly in the evening when it gets dark outside and that castle is lit up there across the water, perhaps you'll be lucky enough to even experience some fireworks from there. They pipe the music in. There's a breakfast there also, and the breakfast is pretty good. I enjoy it. If I had to pick a character breakfast at Disney World that was not in a park, I think this is the one that I would go with there. So, Lilo and Stitch are there at breakfast time, and that's a lot of fun also. So, my number one ADR, even during the days that I don't like it, it is still my top love. Number one, Ohana.
So my number 1, is close to Disney's Polynesian Resort. It is at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort, and this is a signature dining experience, and, this is Citricos located there at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort. I love this restaurant. I've eaten there a few times, had excellent meals there every single time, and just even the decor, there are Mary Poppins nods in that restaurant, just like there are in the rooms now, but I think the colors are beautiful. There's bright jewel tones throughout the restaurant, and it's just a very nice place to go and have a meal together. I may be having a birthday meal this year. I don't know. It's on my short list there too. So I just love
Rachel,
it that
you need to
much.
get planning for this birthday
I
trip.
know.
There's a
I
lot
really
of things on your list. You're going to be there for your
yes.
entire birthday month if you don't start narrowing
It's
things down a
very
little bit.
true. That is very,
And
very
I
true.
don't
But
object to that, but
I don't
your
either.
responsibilities at home and your husband
Yes.
may disagree with the whole
He
month being there.
completely, yeah. So, but Citrus Coast, if you've never been over there to that location, I actually prefer it to Narcoossee's. So I can't compare it to Victoria and Albert's. Haven't done that yet, but Citrus Coast, wonderful. Has a great menu. Has a lot of options for children, which I appreciate as a mom of 3. There's
Huh.
something easy to find for each of my kids.
Well, I have not been to Citricos in over 15 years, so I guess I
Well,
need to hurry up and get myself back there.
yes, I think so.
All right. Well, that was a good top five. Very good. I guess we will roll right into our question of the week. We do have a question this week, and Rachel, they're asking, this is a Disney Cruise Line question, so not at all to do with today's topic, but hey, I can't control what people ask us. So, concerning Disney Cruise Line, We haven't received luggage tags in the mail. Do we need them? I guess they're seeing. So this happens all the time. I saw on Facebook that. I saw on Facebook that. So yeah, you don't always necessarily have to listen to Facebook, but Facebook is
Yes.
correct. Luggage tags it do exist, but do we need them, Rachel?
So, if you have not received your luggage tags in the mail, first of all, know that you are not alone. This tends to happen with Disney Cruise Line, but the good news is you do not need to have them. So, don't panic that they did not arrive. Your porter, when you arrive to the port, there will be porters there to help you with your baggage. They have extra luggage tags. You will give them your stateroom number. They will write it down for you. They will whisk your luggage away and it will show up outside of your stateroom later on in that afternoon. So, the short answer is no, you don't have to have that luggage tag. If they do show up, obviously it is super convenient to attach those after your travel. We mentioned, don't put them on and then get on an airplane. They will get damaged in that process. But if you do not receive them in the mail, don't panic. You can get them at the port from the porter. All right, so moving on to a tip of the week. So this last talk about Disney Cruise Line made me think of this. More and more guests are traveling with CPAP machines, and the cruise line is here to help you with those. So if you are traveling with the CPAP machine, you can contact the cruise line or ask your travel agent to contact the cruise line on your behalf, and the cruise line will be happy to provide you with distilled water and an extension cord. Please do not bring your own extension cord. It will get confiscated. The cruise line will provide one for you, and your room attendant will be happy to show you the correct place to plug in that extension cord, and a gallon of distilled water will be provided for you for your CPAP machine. So the cruise lines really do try to accommodate every single guest an option that's on board. And this is just one of the many ways that they are adapting to make sure that their guests are comfortable and can travel safely and securely. All right. So that's everything that we have for today. So thank you for tuning into our Wilderness Lodge Resort episode and listening to our information about Disney Cruise Line at the end too. So land and sea, no other place that I'd rather be than at Walt Disney World, and talking about Disney travel with you here, Missy. So thank you all for joining us today. Thanks for listening to one of our absolute favorite resorts. We hope that you get to travel there someday and stay there, or if nothing else, please go hop on the boat and go catch a meal at Wilderness Lodge and then put that on your bucket list from there on. So, Missy, thanks for joining me today.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure to chat with you, Rachel. And thank you to our listeners for being here. Make it a great day.